Hello and welcome to my video on how to use CSS3 Animate It. CSS3 Animate It is a plugin that I created a few years ago, which basically gives you the ability to animate elements into view as you scroll down the page. I'd originally created the plugin for my own use, but stuck up a web page just to kind of share it with the community. And since then it's just kind of blown up. I mean, I kind of forgot about it for a while, and came back to it a few years later and noticed that it was being used all over the place. So I thought, better late than never, just to stick up a video and see how it goes. So what we're going to do, let's just follow this tutorial I've already created here. I'm going to put the video up on this page, as I do with all my videos. So you've got a written tutorial here as well. So let's get started. So we've got this basic installation here. What you need to do is just include you need to have jQuery in there. CSS3 Animate It JS, just have that in the footer, and then you need your Animate CSS as well, just for all the animations. Right, so to start off with, we need to add in a parent class, and the parent class is basically what gets seen as you scroll down the page, and then that's what triggers the animation. Because the animated element could be off the screen, it could be somewhere else. So having the animated parent class that's still in place means it gets accurately detected. So we'll just add that in there now, just like this, and then it's called animated parent. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a box. So just div class animated, which is the hook that we use, the class that we use to make it animated. We're going to define an animation. So in this one we'll just use bounce in down, if I can spell it correctly. Bounce in down. And then we're going to give it a class of box, which is just so we can add some styling. Call that class whatever you like. That one isn't necessary. We'll say dot box. Give it a width of 400 pixels, height of 400 pixels, background dash color. What we do here, just A00. And margin 150, just so it's centered on the page and it's got a wee bit of margin from the other ones once we add more in. So there we go. You can see that now it bounces in down from the top. So yeah, it comes in, goes below a little bit and bounces back up. What we can do here is we can add in more, just the same way. So we'll just add some space here, div class animated parent. You could probably copy and paste most of this, but animated, and then we'll say fade in. Just give that box as well, just so that it has the same styling. Refresh that. So that's now faded in. But obviously these are being loaded on load because we're not having to scroll down to them. So let's just add in a few more here. We'll just copy that. Add some space here just to keep it neat. So we've got fade in, let's grow in, and bounce in right, fade in down, and fade in up. See how that goes. So as we scroll down, these start to animate into view as the animated parent comes into view, and then as you go back up again, they'll fade in again. So that's the very basics of how to get this working. There is some other functionality that you can hook into, but this is going to be what most people are going to be using it for. Now you might want to alter the animation speed just to kind of slow things down. You can override these classes inside the CSS here. So we've got slow, slower, slowest. But obviously, yeah, you can alter these if you like. Even add in more classes, or add a numbering system if you like. But I've just kept this simple for now. So what we'll do, in order to slow one of these down, is we're going to add slow here, slower here, and slowest here, just so we can kind of see what they look like. So the first one's going to go in quickly, this one's going to go in a little bit slower, and then slower again, and then slower. So it doesn't actually delay the animation, it just slows down the animation itself. We do have a delay class though, so we'll add that in as well, see how that goes. The delay works slightly differently. So you can see here we've got delay 250, 500, 750, and that just basically correlates to the amount of seconds. So let's add some delays in here as well. So we'll say, let's go up to the top one actually. Delay dash 250, delay dash 1000, delay dash 2000, delay dash 2500, and delay 3000. That'll do for now. So if we come back up to the top here and refresh this page, that's coming in, that's delayed. If you scroll down, it's not going to appear just yet, and then it comes in. It's quite a long delay on these. And then that comes in, that bottom one doesn't have a delay on it, so that's why it came in before the one above it. That's popping in now, so there we go. That's your delay. Now let's just remove some of these for now, and we'll take a look at sequencing. There we go. Right, so we're back to normal now. So say you wanted to have it so that on appear, display each animation one after the other, so it's going to be sequenced. The way you do this is by hooking into the parent class, so we actually need to reorganize this a little bit. And I'm just going to copy and paste this from the blog post instead of writing this out, because it's basically all the same idea. So you can see here we've got the same thing, we've got boxes here, but they're all under the one animated parent, and that's because we want to trigger the sequence of animations once this parent comes into view, rather than doing them individually. So what we've got here is we've got a data sequence attribute here. We've set that to 500, that's the delay between each sequence. And the second thing you need here is a data ID, so that's just another attribute to say this is the first one, this is the second one, and you're just going to put this on each of the divs as the elements inside that animated parent. So we'll just refresh this and see how it goes. So you can see it doesn't wait for me to scroll down to it, it's just going to load them one after the other. Probably be a little bit better if these were side by side. So what we'll do is display inline dash block. So we can see what that does. There we go. So you can see how that works now. As it comes into view, it just triggers the whole animation, just does one after the other. If we reduce this data sequence time here, you can see they're coming a little bit faster, and if we do 1000, it's a 1 second gap between each animation. 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So that's the basics of that. Right, so what we'll do is we're going to return this back to normal now. We'll just put this back to having the boxes we had before individually. Put that back in there. So we're back to where we were before as they're coming into view and scroll. Right, so if you want to try and offset this animation so that the animated parent doesn't get triggered until you're further down the page, because currently as soon as it comes into view, it's going to animate it into view. We can just use an offset attribute on the parent class. So what we're going to do is we'll skip down a couple of these just so that we can scroll down to it, and we'll do data dash appear dash top dash offset. Quite a mouthful. So we're just going to do minus 300, and let's see what that does. So that's on the third element there, and we'll have to scroll down to that one. So we've got 1 and 2 in there, and we scroll down. That's taken 300 pixels to come in, so we'll do that again. As you can see, it would normally have animated in by now, and it's still not there, and then it comes in. So if we were to make this, say, actually, let's make it 1000. Let's see what happens there. So if I scroll down now, it's still not in. Could be 1000 pixels over it, and then it appears in there. You could put in a positive integer there as well. So if we just put 200 in positive, it's probably going to come in. Yeah, there we go. It's coming before we could even see it. So if you want to start the animation early, then you can do that as well. But it's going to be most useful with a negative integer. Right, so the next thing on this list is going to be animating on click. So basically, if you want to have a button to trigger these animations, instead of having to have a separate library in there for doing your animations, then you can use CSS3 Animate It for that as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all this for now. We're going to add in a button. Input type button. I'm not going to bother adding in a form or anything just now, because you could add this to a div or a little link or anything like that as well. Class, it's going to be animated click, just so we can target that. Data-target is going to be the target element. We'll leave that blank for now and we'll put in a target element and then we'll add that in. So what we're going to do is h2, it could be anything really, it doesn't have to be an h2. Class animated, I keep putting the wrong quotes in here, different keyboard. Animated bounce in down. Let's call it click example. And then fade out down. So this is saying on click once we're going to bounce it in, and if you want to fade it out, we've got an out animation here as well. And if you want to see where all the out animations are, just come into here. They're pretty self-explanatory. They're just the opposite of the fade in animations. But if you just come to the bottom, let's actually do fade out down. Just search that, so you can see we've got them all commented here. Fade out right, flip out X. So got quite a few animations in here. It's just the opposites of the fade in animations. So what we're saying is bounce in down, fade out down. And we've called it click example, so we'll add that to our data target. It's just going to be the class. And we'll just call it works. Right, so let's see what this has done then. So just refresh that just to make sure. So we've got a button here. We click that, it should bounce in down. Not really seeing that too well because it's coming straight in from the top. But it should fade out down. There we go. So it is bouncing in, but you're not really seeing it very well. Let's change that to bounce in right. Bounce in right. Try that, see if that's any better. There we go, you can kind of see that coming in now. It just looked like it was appearing before because it was going behind the button, coming straight from the top, and then fade out down. So you're bouncing in right, fading out down. So that's the last one on the list. So if there's anything you'd like to see added to this, or if you find any bugs, then drop me a comment and let me know. And just before I go, guys, I'd just like to take a second to thank my sponsor, Shopify. Now, Shopify have completely revolutionised the e-commerce marketplace and made things so much easier to do. Previously, if you'd use something like Magento or OpenCart, it's clunky, it's heavy, it's hard to work with, and if you don't know how to use it, then you need to get an expensive developer to work on it. With Shopify, on the other hand, you can have no experience with code, and then go on and create a beautiful looking website and start making money straight away. If you are a developer, then working with it is easy, even if you're just learning. You can modify the templates, so it's great. Follow the link in the description because that will give you a 14-day free trial, and I also get a little kickback as well. It helps the channel, helps you, helps everyone, and everyone's happy. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.